curious about my hospital wake-up. It happened about an hour ago when police arrived. They questioned me and Sister Sue, and all they found was a broken window in the basement, some blood on the bedroom floor, and one of my fingers in the elevator. Honestly, I felt like an unwanted guest. Even the police dogs were looking for her with no luck. Now she's been tagged as missing. From the cops' tone, it was clear they weren't too hopeful about finding her. But I know she's somewhere out there, and that thought gives me the chills. Sometimes I think she might still be playing hide and seek, just an upgraded version with more players involved. So if you see her in the woods or at your place, remember my warning. Don't play hide and seek with her. I met a mysterious woman at a bar. She was a woman of few words. When I first saw her, she was sitting alone in a corner, and I was a little tipsy. There was a strange scent about her, and her gaze was vacant. I asked if she needed a ride home or if she wanted to call someone, but she didn't utter a word. I truly aimed to help the drunk lady reach home safely, asking if she preferred water or coffee, or if she had friends with her, but she remained silent. I sensed she needed help, so I ordered a ride and helped her out of the bar. But I was pretty tipsy myself, so she seemed less drunk than I was. She was staggering around like a supermodel who was losing blood, but boy, was she gorgeous. The driver was torn. He was unsure whether to take us, saying she needed a doctor and pointing to her leg wound, like he would carelessly bleed all over his ride. I checked the wound and found it was already dry. She must have just taken a tumble, and both of us were totally wasted. The driver didn't really want us in his car, but thankfully she was super nice. I looked like a drunken mess. I could barely move. And this woman had no wallet, no ID, no phone, nothing. I inquired several times where she lived, but she just giggled away. I was at my wit's end with this drunk lady, and trust me, I couldn't help myself either. In the end, I decided to take her to my place, but honestly, I had no ulterior motives, just good intentions. When we got home, I double-checked if she wanted to come in, telling her that if she didn't, the driver could take her elsewhere. The driver heard me say that, but she didn't respond at all, just murmured softly, making a hissing sound. I thought she might be hungry, so I brought her inside, setting her down on the couch, saying I'd whip her up a snack. I asked her what she liked to eat, but she wouldn't answer. She seemed more comfortable here than in the bar. Maybe she wasn't hungry. I sat by her to see if her voice was too low, yet I couldn't hear her. plus or minus, I quarter, tilde, acute, ugrovi, IGHT, liget, z not sign, Zeus, really for BBO madi circumflex. I slung my arm around her to keep her warm. If she had said to move, I would, but she didn't protest. Just then, things took a dramatic turn. She suddenly turned around and bit my arm like a little vampire. She bit down hard. It was like she had transformed into a different person in an instant. I used all my strength to shove her away and tried to run, but she leapt right back at me. I was at a loss for a moment, so I grabbed the nearest thing I could, a notebook, and whacked her in the head. She stumbled and fell, but quickly got back up attacking me, so I wrapped her in a rug. I watched her bite marks spread beyond my arm and had no clue how to deal with it. I figured I might need a shot, but I didn't head to the hospital. I just kept scratching my head. I tossed her in the back of my truck, threw on a bloody jacket. I scratched harder and harder until my arm went completely numb. Driving one-handed wasn't easy, especially with an infection setting in. I should have gone to the hospital, but I was scared my appearance might raise suspicion with nurses, doctors, or even the police. In the end, I decided to drive to a restroom, and when I lifted her out, my neck started to itch and sting. I could feel her influence spreading, so I used my stiff jacket to rub my face. I tossed the rub wrapped around her straight into the water, and on my drive home, it felt like something crawled into my eye. Maybe if I'd seen an eye doctor back then, things would have turned out differently. Turns out I didn't even buy eye drops. I just thought it would get better over time while I wallowed in my misery. I started worrying if my flesh was on fire. I was seriously scared my body was rotting. Every time I looked in the mirror, I got scared. Am I turning into a zombie? My scalp was so dry it looked like I dusted it with powder, and my hands were sprouting hair like some wild creature. I felt like time was running, but I wasn't dead yet. I could feel that woman's scent wrapping around me slowly. If you enjoyed this wild tale, make sure to hit that subscribe button.